Have you ever wondered if the very system we trust to manage our money is quietly steering the world toward chaos? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a chilling reality. The Federal Reserve and central banks may be fueling a path to World War III. Shocking, right? But here's the twist. There's a revolution underway, and it's called Bitcoin. This isn't just about cryptocurrencies. It's about reclaiming control, breaking free from a century-old cycle of debt and manipulation, and finally seeing the truth for what it is. If you're tired of feeling like just another cog in the machine, stick with me. We're diving into the hidden connections between central banks, wars, and the rise of a financial system they can't control. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see why Bitcoin isn't just a currency. It's a movement. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because what you're about to learn could change how you see money forever. Let's get started. Let's wind the clock back to the early 1900s, a time when the financial stage was quietly being set for the world we live in today. In 1913, the Federal Reserve was born. Not a federal institution as the name suggests, but a private entity with its own agenda. Sneaky, right? This marked the beginning of a global financial system tied not just to banks, but to wars. The First World War erupted less than a year later, almost as if by design. The Fed and its counterparts were financing both sides, raking in profits while nations drowned in debt. Think about it. Wars didn't just happen. They were funded. Someone always made money. But wait, why is this important? Well, central banks don't just manage money. They create it, lend it, and collect interest. By controlling the money supply, they effectively control economies. They've been pulling these strings for over a century, influencing everything from inflation to political power plays. The Federal Reserve's creation wasn't just about stabilizing finances. It was about centralizing power. And oh boy, have they succeeded. Wars, depressions, and recoveries. Each crisis deepened their grip. It's like they've got an all-access pass to humanity's worst moments, cashing in every time. They don't teach this in school. Most people have no idea how their paycheck, savings, or investments are affected by a system designed to keep them in the hamster wheel. The Federal Reserve has been around for 111 years, and its fingerprints are all over history's most chaotic events. From funding World War I to the Great Depression, these central banks have played chess while we've played checkers. The connections aren't coincidences. They're part of a long game. And as you'll see, there's one disruptor they never saw coming. Bitcoin. Let's talk about fiat currency. The paper money most of us use daily. It's not backed by gold, silver, or anything tangible anymore. Its value lies in trust. But trust in what? Central banks. These institutions print money at will, flooding economies with cash that loses value over time. Inflation is like a hidden tax, quietly draining your wallet while you're busy working harder for less. And here's the real kicker. Fiat systems are a tool for control. The more money they print, the more they own everything. Your labor, your assets, even your future. Ever wonder why wars are so expensive but never seem to bankrupt nations? Fiat currency is the answer. Central banks loan out trillions, governments go to war, and taxpayers foot the bill with interest. It's a vicious cycle. Debt funds conflict. Conflict creates more debt. And who benefits? Definitely not the average person working 9 to 5. This cycle isn't a bug in the system. It's the feature that keeps central banks in power. Fiat money is the fuel for this never-ending game, ensuring you and I stay players, not winners. But here's where it gets interesting. Bitcoin. Unlike fiat, Bitcoin is decentralized and finite, capped at 21 million coins. No printing press, no hidden taxes. It's a system built on transparency, not manipulation. People are waking up to this reality, choosing Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and control. Think of it like this. Fiat is the sinking Titanic, and Bitcoin is the lifeboat. But the transition isn't easy. The powers that be don't want to lose control, which is why they're fighting tooth and nail to keep fiat systems alive. And it all ties back to how this system started. History isn't just something we read in textbooks. It's a map showing us exactly how we got here. Take the American Revolution, for example. Did you know one of the main reasons it started was because King George III forced the colonies to use banknotes from the Bank of England, a private central bank? The colonies had their own interest-free currency, but when that was taken away, economic chaos followed. It wasn't just about tea and taxes. It was about money and control. Fast forward to the Civil War, and you'll see the same playbook. Private banks offered President Lincoln loans at absurd interest rates. When he said no, they turned against him, and greenbacks, a government-backed currency, were born. This cycle repeats over and over. After World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement tied global currencies to the US dollar, which was supposedly backed by gold. It sounded solid, but the reality? The Federal Reserve overprinted dollars, countries started demanding gold instead, and by 1971, the US had to sever the dollar's tie to gold altogether. This move plunged the world into a fully fiat system, where money was backed by nothing but promises. From there, central banks had free rein to manipulate economies, and the average person didn't even notice. Here's the thing. Every economic crisis, from the Great Depression to the 2008 financial meltdown, has one common denominator: debt. Central banks thrive on it. They create money, loan it out, and collect interest. It's a rigged game, and we're the pawns. But when you trace the dots, it becomes clear. This system isn't designed to serve you. It's designed to serve them. And now, for the first time, people have an alternative. A way out of this centuries-old cycle. It's revolutionary, and it's shaking the foundations of everything we know. Now, imagine a world where money isn't controlled by a central authority. A world where you're in charge of your wealth, not some faceless institution. That's the promise of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. Bitcoin isn't just another form of currency. It's a revolution in how we think about money. Instead of being tied to central banks, it's decentralized. No one can print more Bitcoins as inflate its value away or manipulate it behind closed doors. It's a system built on code and transparency, offering a real chance to escape the endless cycle of debt and control. Here's the wild part. This shift is happening faster than anyone expected. 10 years ago, Bitcoin was a niche experiment. Today, it's a trillion-dollar asset class, shaking up entire industries. People in countries with hyperinflation, like Venezuela or Zimbabwe, are already using it to protect their wealth. Even institutional investors, those same folks who used to laugh at crypto, are piling in. Bitcoin represents freedom, not just from inflation, but from a system that's been rigged against everyday people for generations. It's not just money, it's hope. And it's not just Bitcoin. Blockchain technology is transforming everything from finance to supply chains. Think about this. What if voting was done on a blockchain? No fraud, no corruption. Just a transparent, tamper-proof system. Or what if charities used blockchain to prove every dollar you donate goes where it's supposed to? The possibilities are endless. But make no mistake, this isn't just about technology, it's about power, and those who've held it for centuries are fighting back. The next chapter of this story is being written right now, and you're part of it. Sometimes the loudest truths are spoken by the people. History tries to forget. Take Benjamin Franklin, for instance. He once said, the colonies would gladly have borne the little tax on tea and other matters had it not been that England took away from the colonies their money, which created unemployment and dissatisfaction. In simple terms, control over money equals control over people. Thomas Jefferson echoed this sentiment, warning that private banks were more dangerous than standing armies. And yet, here we are. Exactly in the scenario they tried to prevent. Their words weren't just warnings. They were blueprints for understanding the system we live under today. Even in more recent times, the patterns are painfully clear. President Andrew Jackson fought tooth and nail to dismantle the Second Bank of the United States, calling it a den of vipers and thieves. He succeeded, paying off the national debt, a feat no other president has achieved. But his defiance came with a price. Assassination attempts, political resistance, you name it. The more you connect the dots, the clearer it becomes. Those who stand up to central banks rarely escape unscathed. The stakes aren't just political, they're existential. And let's not forget the power of the people. Bitcoin isn't some random invention. It's a response to centuries of financial oppression. The mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto created a system that doesn't just fix the flaws of fiat, it makes them obsolete. In doing so, Bitcoin embodies the spirit of Jefferson, Franklin, and Jackson. It's a tool for liberation, crafted in a digital age. Their struggles and sacrifices paved the way for this revolution. The question now is whether we'll seize the moment or let it slip through our fingers. Now you know what they don't want you to know. The Federal Reserve, central banks, and fiat currencies aren't just outdated, they're chains. And Bitcoin, it's the key to breaking free. But knowing this isn't enough. You've got to act. Start exploring decentralized systems, transfer your crypto to secure wallets, and educate yourself on how to navigate this new financial frontier. The tools are there. It's up to you to use them. Here's the question you need to ask yourself. Will you keep trusting a system designed to keep you in debt, or will you embrace the revolution that's already changing lives around the world? If you're ready to take the next step, start by subscribing to this channel for more insights that the mainstream won't give you. Hit like, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this. And for those of you who are ready to go even deeper, I've got something special for you. My ebook, Mastering DeFi, is packed with strategies, tools, and insider tips to help you build true financial freedom. It's everything you need to create your perfect portfolio and escape the traps of the old system. The link is pinned in the first comment. Don't wait to grab your copy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.